Breaking Bad is my favourite show of all time. I rewatch this show continuously over and over again, time and time again. I adore the characters of Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, and I thought the finale was pretty flawless, with a few exceptions. So going into El Camino, I was very nervous, but also very excited, cautiously optimistic to put it best. Thankfully, I can say that El Camino is a very good film, a solid continuation that wasn't exactly necessary to be made. We didn't need this in the Breaking Bad legacy, but at the same time, it doesn't hinder or hurt the original series, and it's just a nice add-on to the Breaking Bad universe, similar to Better Call Saul. Just a quick heads up, this review will be spoiler free for the most part. I will get into spoilers towards the end, and I will let you know when the big bad spoilers come up, but for now, I'm just going to talk about El Camino kind of generally and how I feel about it. Aaron Paul is wonderful, and he just slips right back into the role of Jesse Pinkman flawlessly. I think out of all the returning actors that do come back, without going into spoilers, Aaron Paul looks the youngest. He can definitely get away with the fact that it's been 6 years since the Breaking Bad finale, and some of the actors have aged noticeably. But Aaron Paul's reprisal as Jesse Pinkman is incredible. He really portrays this very damaged PTSD character who's gone through so much hell, and you really feel his suffering throughout this film, especially in the beginning. Overall, the film is quite slow, and that is the case with a lot of Breaking Bad episodes. The show does take its time, and I always respected that and really appreciated that. There's so much subtext, like very rich subtext, like very subtly in the background of so many iconic Breaking Bad scenes. And often the show would be so quiet and slow and deliberate, and then BAM! It would just hit you right in the gut with these incredible ecstasy-filled scenes that just make you go, wow! El Camino doesn't really do that as much. It does remind me a lot more of Better Call Saul, which is the spin-off to Breaking Bad. It's very slow, it takes its time. Yeah, it really takes its time to get going, which a lot of people, I could see them getting quite turned off by that. And at times, I do think certain flashbacks do drag for the sake of, ooh, look at this old character, fan service, ooh. But I've seen it done a lot worse in other shows, and I think this slow pace of El Camino is much more bearable and admirable than something of Better Call Saul, which I still enjoy a lot, but goddamn, that show is painfully slow sometimes, ugh. El Camino at least has some exciting action scenes towards the end of the film. Like I mentioned before, this Netflix film was not a necessary addition to the Breaking Bad world, and even then, it's still highly entertaining. It doesn't hurt the show. This is a really nice, enjoyable addition, and I found myself very entertained by it. So the major flaws with it is that there's some very dragged out flashbacks. The pacing is a little too slow at points, and you do think maybe they could have done a lot more in the present tense of the film. There is one particular character that does appear a bit too much in the film. I'll get into that more in my spoiler section. But in conclusion, I really enjoyed El Camino. I don't think it's amazing or anything. It's not the second coming of Jesus, but it is the second coming of Jesse Pinkman, so I quite enjoyed that. Is it as groundbreaking and as incredible as its parent counterpart Breaking Bad? Well, no, not quite. But it is thoroughly enjoyable, and if you are a fan of the series, I highly recommend it. So now that is the end of the spoiler-free section. Now you can join me for the very juicy spoiler section. Very early on into the film, we get a lot of Skinny Pete and Badger, and that's really enjoyable. It's really nice that once Jesse gets out of the neo-Nazi compound and he's just screaming with joy, instantly we see some police cars coming after him. It's like, oh god, the manhunt has begun already. And it's really lovely to know that the first place that Jesse thinks to go to once he's broke free is to reunite with his old two friends, Skinny Pete and Badger. And just like Aaron Paul, those two actors really slip into those comedic duo extremely well. There's a really tense scene where Jesse's looking around Todd's house and these two supposedly DEA agents come in. And this leads into one thing that I really love about the film, is that it really gives loads of highs and lows for Jesse. One minute you think he's going to get out the neo-Nazi compound, and then oh crap, you see some flashing red and blue police lights in the rear view mirror of Jesse's car, and you're like, oh crap. Then Jesse gets over to Todd's house, he's looking for the money. Where is it? Oh crap, it's in the fridge. Awesome. Oh no, DEA agents are outside. Holy crap. And the film does that excellently, because let's be honest, the story is fairly simple. It's just about Jesse getting out and getting to Alaska. It's just getting a character from A to B. It's a very simple plot, but the highs and lows that the audience experiences with Jesse really helps to heighten the stakes. I really love seeing Ed again. the vacuum repair cleaner guy. He's awesome. And unfortunately, the actor passed away recently, which is quite sad, so rest in peace, Ed. And of course, the most action-packed scene of the film is when Jesse confronts these two guys that pretended to be DEA agents, and they have 2/3 of Todd's money. Jesse only got 1/3, and it's not enough for him to get away. And one reason why I really love this scene, and there's many reasons why, but one of the great reasons is that you see a big contrast between how Heisenberg and Jesse handle situations. If you were to put Walter in this situation, he'd go in all guns blazing, snarling his teeth, doing his whole "say my name, I'm Heisenberg," and he'd have some really epic plan. Whereas Jesse just meets these guys at their level and he's just honest with them and he just says, look, I need the money, give it to me, come on, just why not? And I love the casualness that's played up there, it's really fun. And this goes into my favourite scene of the whole film, the Wild West scene, which is brilliant when Jesse has a really badass moment. It's kind of like his Felina moment, like when Walter just guns down all the neo-Nazis. Jesse outsmarts this dude by having 2 guns that he stole from his parents' house. And when the guy thinks Jesse's going to shoot him with 1 gun, Jesse goes for the other. Bam, bam, bam. Just clears out the whole room and it's awesome. After this scene, the pacing takes a bit of a weird slump where we have a very enjoyable scene between Walter and Jesse. And yes, Bryan Cranston is back as Mr. White. And I do love this scene between Jesse and Walter in the diner. Again though, it feels like this should have been a scene in season 2. Did we really need to see Walter White again? That's one thing I want to ask. Bryan Cranston does a fantastic job of just becoming Walter White again, even if his bowl cap looks a little strange. I don't know if he did actually shave his hair for the role, but there's a possibility he's wearing quite a lot of makeup in that scene, and Jesse does look noticeably older in that scene. It's not a massive deal because, like I said, Aaron Paul's got a very lovely baby face. But during that scene, there was this weird uncanny valley where I'm like, ooh, I really like seeing these characters back then, but they don't look quite right, and it's like, oh. And again, this film is all about Jesse. This is his time to shine. I like how Walter White is very offhandedly mentioned as, he died on the news. And Ed even references to Walter White when Jesse is trying to convince him to make him disappear. I personally felt like that was enough. I don't think we needed a Walter White cameo. The problem is I think there's such an expectation that, there's a Breaking Bad film, we must have Walter White. And I completely understand why Vince Gilligan wrote this scene. I do like Walter's final line saying to Jesse about how, you didn't have to wait your whole life to do something great. If that is Walter White's final lines when we ever see him on screen, fantastic. At the same time, the scene is kind of paced strangely because it's put just after this big action scene and it's a very slow, dialogue-driven scene between Walter and Jesse, and I just don't know if it works as well as it should. So I feel a little bit mixed on that, but then the ending really hit me and I had a massive smile on my face while I was seeing the ending. Just like in the opening when Mike mentions Alaska, Jesse finally makes it to his dream destination in Alaska. He hands a nice green letter over to Ed to give to Brock, which I do wish we would have actually heard what was in that letter. In an interview with Aaron Paul, he did say that originally in the original draft of the script, we did actually see and hear what was in that letter and what Jesse wanted to say to Brock, how he apologised about what happened with Andrea. I would have loved to hear that, but it got cut out sadly, which is a shame. So the film ends on a very simple but epic note where Jesse is free. He's finally free. And to finally see this character just free on the road with a smile on his face in Alaska, it just left me really, really happy and satisfied. So yeah, to wrap this video up, I did really enjoy El Camino. Like I said, I have a couple of niggles and problems with it, but I think overall, it's just really enjoyable. It's really fun. Like I said before, I don't quite love it. I don't think it's as good as, some of the more epic episodes in Breaking Bad like Ozymandias, Felina. But honestly, Vince Gilligan has just spoiled us at this point, and I think if this is the final thing we ever see in Breaking Bad besides Better Call Saul, I'm extremely happy, and I think you should leave it on this note because this is great. So thank you all for listening. Let me know your thoughts on El Camino and Breaking Bad, and are you looking forward to Better Call Saul Season 5? Don't forget to check out the channel, and I will catch you on the flip side. Take care and goodbye.